Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is this, a payday routine, which is about automating your finances. If you struggle to pay your bills, if you struggle to save, if you think you don't have enough money to invest, this will get you there. This is the answer, and it is so simple to set up. I am always amazed that people don't have this set up. So today we're going to walk through this, right? So let's start. Payday routine. Right, where do you start? Well, you start with your pay, right? So this is from your company, right? So your company will be paying you hopefully monthly, although we'll address that later. But if it's paying you monthly, also it should also be taking some out and putting that into your 401k or your company pension if you're in the UK, which is where I'm from. If that's not happening, then you can talk to your payroll and get them to set that up, or you might be doing that yourself. In any case, before your pay gets to you, some of it will be taken out and to put into your 401k. They do this immediately because it's pre-tax, so you won't get taxed on that, right? And that is sometimes around about 5%. That's a good figure to aim for. 5% of your gross monthly income going into your 401k. Right. After that, it will come down into your checking account. So your company will put, once it's taken out as 401k, it'll put the rest of it into your checking account, right? And it's just, oh, that is checking account. Okay. Right. From there, what you want to do is some of it's going to go into your savings account. Now you might be thinking, well, how is this all going to happen? Well, I'm going to talk through that. Some of it's going to go into your investments. This isn't very neat, but you can see what I'm saying, hopefully. Investments. And then some of it is going to go to paying off your credit card. And the credit card is key to this system, but because your credit card will be used to pay for all of your utilities. So that's your gas, electric, your water, so on. It will also pay for your mortgage. Well, there's a problem with that. Sometimes you can't do that, and I'll talk you through that in a minute. It will also provide you with your guilt-free spending money, which is just the amount you have that you can spend. That's guilt-free, by the way. It's the amount that you can have that you can spend every month on whatever you want, right? And having that defined is very important. We'll come to that in a minute. So your savings account also should be split up into separate goals. The first of which should be your emergency fund. Second will be, I don't know, holiday fund. Whatever it is, right? And then you'll maybe have another one, car, perhaps. I don't know. And in here, good amounts to have that I would recommend would be 10%. 10% also into your investments. Try to increase that every year if you can, but start with something. Anything, it doesn't matter if you can't make 10%. Make it 5%, make it 3%. Just get it going, and then this will happen automatically, as we'll see in a minute. You can build that up over time. Now, your utilities, your mortgage, your fixed costs, the things that you need to pay for every month, shouldn't, in total, come to more than 60% of your post-tax income. And then here, your guilt-free should be about 30%. Yeah, so that's the 60, 70, 80, 90, you've got over 100 here. So this ideally should be about 50%. Yeah, and this could be around about 20%. So you've got to play with the numbers and make it work. But how do you set all this up? This is the picture of a fully set up automatic payday routine. How would you go about setting this up? Well, it's fairly straightforward. Get rid of all that now. We'll probably draw some of that back again. I need to attach this board to the wall. It's just arrived. So, okay, so how do you set this up? Well, all your bank accounts will have something either called transfer, move money, and there's another thing. But it was obvious. I can't remember what it is, but it's obvious when you look at it. It means transferring money over to other accounts. So you have to call up or log on, more than likely, to each of your accounts and set up the linkage between each of your accounts. So like I said, your checking account will link to your savings account, it will also link to your investment account, and it will link to your credit card account. Okay, so once you've done that and you've gone online and you've made those setups, which is really simple, so it's 5 minutes per account, what you need to do next is, get rid of this again, is for all of the bills that you get, and these are the utilities, you've got to link them into your credit card, right? So you've got to go into your credit card account, set up payments, monthly payments for each of your utilities. So your, like I said, your water, your gas, your electric, your telephone, your cable, all of those things, as many as you can. Some you might not be able to do, in which case you'll stick with your checking account. But most of them you should be able to stick on your credit card. Now, why is your credit card important? Because it provides you with extra protections when things go wrong. Your credit card company will give you so much more protection than your normal checking account, right? So if things go wrong, if you get a faulty product, if the payment doesn't materialize, you can contact your credit card company and they will sort it out for you, right? They are really good at that. Also, you're typically going to get points on your credit. So every time you spend, you'll get points, which will add more money into your account. So why wouldn't you use it, right? So if you've got monthly outgoings, make your credit card the source of the payments, and then you'll just accumulate points, and you'll rack up the dollars that they'll give back to you for those points. So what you need to do is to set up your credit card to all of your utilities. Like I said, sorry about my spelling, your phone, your cable, car payments, everything, as much as you can. Because if you can do that, then what you can also do with your credit card is go in and set up a weekly email notification, which will tell you how much you're spending per week, which will keep you on track. All right, and it'll just appear in your inbox. So like I said, once you set all of that up, then you set up the link between your checking account and your credit card account, right? And we'll come on to the timings of all this in a moment. But that's the basic setup. And also, like I said, what's really important is this gives you an amount of money which is called guilt-free spending. Okay? Spending, yeah. So you got all that set up and it's linked, right? So we're talking about the structural links at the moment. So we've talked about the bigger picture, and now this is zooming in on what your credit card needs to do, the work that your credit card will do in this system, okay? So what's next then? If you can't pay for something electronically, sometimes you just have to write a check out, right? So maybe you have to pay your rent with a handwritten check. If you can't pay for something seemingly electronically, there is a way that you can do it. Your checking account, again, will have something that's called a bill pay feature. It's called bill pay. So you can talk to your bank and ask your bank to pay your rent or whatever it is that you have to currently pay with a written check. Ask your bank to do it, and they will cut a check every month and post it through to your landlord or whoever it is, right? So you can automate those payments and your bank will do it, right? So if you come across that problem and you're currently paying things with checks, get your bank to do it and they will do it in the background automatically. Now, the next half of this, the important part of this, is timing. When do you do it? If you're paid on the 1st, let's say, the 1st of the month, but your credit card is due on the 23rd of the month, your car payment is due on the 17th, your gas, electricity, your utilities, it comes out on the 28th. You get paid on the 1st. You've got to last all that time, right up until the 23rd, 28th. You've got to keep your money in your account all that time, which means that you can't overspend. And it's very easy to overspend. If your money is there sitting in your checking account and you're waiting for those bills to come out at the end of the month when you've been paid at the beginning of the month, that's really tough. That's really hard to manage. You don't want that. You've got to set it up differently. And again, it's really simple to set up. Now, I don't know when you're paid. You could be paid any time of the month, but let's assume, and take this as a model, let's assume that you're paid on the 1st of the month. What you have to do is go to all the people that you pay every month, and you're going to have to call them up, or again, log on to their website and change the payment dates. All those things that are just spread haphazardly across the months because they just happen to be that date when you set up the automatic payment or the bill payment or the direct debit. All of them are spread across the month haphazardly. You've got to kind of chunk them together, right? And this is the ideal, what I'm going to show you now is the ideal setup of those payment schedules, right? So they're all working together. So assume you're paid on the 1st. You've contacted all of the people that you pay bills to and you've asked for the dates to be changed, right? They will do it. You can do it once, I think maybe even twice per year with free of charge, right? They will do it. So assuming you're paid on the 1st. So what you want to do is on the 3rd, and you've got to leave a couple of days just in case it's a weekend or your paycheck comes in late for whatever reason. So on the 3rd, what you want to do is transfer from your checking account on the 3rd, your savings amount. We're going to come onto the bills in a minute. Also on the 3rd, you want your investment pot to be funded. Yeah. On the 5th, this is the date that you want all your bills to come out, right? So all your bills fall due on the 5th. All the bills fall due on the 5th. All your mortgage payment, your rent, car payments, debts, and all the things we've mentioned, right? They fall due on the 5th. Now, because they'll give you a month to pay, right? They don't fall due and then you have to pay it straight away. So they'll give you a month to pay, but you're not going to wait a month. You're going to wait until 2 more days, the 7th. And then your credit card, so that should be checking account. And then your credit card will pay all of those bills on the 7th. And then on the 8th, and I've gone too far to the right, but on the 8th, your checking account will pay off your credit card. Yeah? So the money comes in on the 1st, straight away, pay yourself first. You pay your whatever percentage you're going to try to save per month into your savings. Same again for your investments. By the time the 5th comes along, all of your bills will have landed. 2 days later, your credit card kicks in, pays all those bills. If you've still got some lingering that you can only pay from your checking account, and that will happen from your checking account instead. A day later, on the 8th, you pay off your credit card with your checking account, okay? And so what about your guilt-free spending? Well, you're paid on the 1st. Everything else is paid out. You've already taken care of your savings. You've taken care of your investments. You've taken care of your bills. You've paid off your credit card. Whatever's left in your checking account is your guilt-free spending for that month, right? And again, pay for it with your credit card. And then at the very end of the month, say on the 31st, so let's come back to here, the 31st, the month prior to that, you have another payment that clears off your credit card completely. If you can see that, checking account pays off your credit card on the 31st. But that's how I set it up. And that works for me. Once that's all set up, it might look complicated, but that all happens automatically now. I don't really have to get involved. All I do is I check as I'm coming up to the end of the month, check that my guilt-free spending isn't getting too high. Yeah, and I know how much it is weekly because I'm getting my notifications from my credit card. Right. There's one final thing. What happens if you don't get paid monthly? What happens if you get paid twice monthly? Well, okay, well, you can just implement the system twice. So with your first 2 weeks of the month's pay, so the pay comes in, again to your checking account, you use this first half to pay off your bills, so your credit card, what you've accumulated on the credit card for those first 2 weeks, and your savings, as much as you can into your savings investments. And then when it comes in the second time, you again keep up to date by paying off your credit card. Hopefully you managed to put as much as you need to into your savings and investments, but maybe you've split that into 2 halves as well, in which case put again the amount that you want to put into your savings and investments. And then finally, guilt-free spending. Okay. Right, so that's what you do. That's the simple case, right, where you're paid more than once a month. What happens if you have uneven income? So 1 month you might have $1,000 coming in, next month you might have $700 coming in. So what you have to do in that case is to build up a buffer of, say, 3 months worth of base expenses. These are your base expenses, so your housing, utilities, your car costs, right, the things that get you through the month. And you've got to save up 3 months worth. So the way you do that, the money that you would have been putting into savings and investments, don't put, for now, don't put that in there. Put it into your buffer. All right? We have to take care of the buffer first. It's most important. So we're trying to build up 3 months worth of base expenses. If you've had a good month and you're paid more than your base expenses, put the remainder, how much extra you've got, again, into your buffer. And you do this over, I don't know, it could take more than 3 months, it could take 6 or 7 months, but until you've got 3 months worth of expenses in there, you do not save, you do not invest, and you do not frivolously spend any gains that you have. You put it all into that buffer until you've got 3 months of expenses. Right, so now what happens? Well, okay, now when you get paid, say your average is $1,000 a month again, right? Instead, you get paid $700 this month, right? $700. So what you do, you pull out $300 from your buffer to make good. This is to simulate having the same monthly pay every month, right? So you pull out $300 to make good on the 1K that you'd normally get. If you get a month where you have, I don't know, 1,200 come in your variable pay, you put 200 back in. Yeah? So you try to restock it. Whenever you get a lower month, you pull out. And whenever you get a higher month, you restock it, right? And so you try to keep that 3 months, flat 3 months. And that's it. That's how you manage variable pay. Okay, that's about it, right? So if there's any questions, please put them down in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer questions. But hopefully you can take that and apply it to your own situation. And if you do that, job's a good one. That's it. Bye.